r/AskReddit. What's the most X-Files-like experience you've had in real life? Let me preface this with my morning routine. Wake up at 4:30 am. Out the door by 5:15 am. Clock in at work 5:5 exam. Never fails unless major traffic incident on the highway. Anyhow, one morning this past August, I'm out the door as usual. Minimal traffic on the road. Boss calls halfway through my commute. "Hey, you coming in?" And I say yeah. "Why do you ask?" "Boss, well it's 6:30 am and you usually call if you're going to be late." I look at my dashboard and yup, it's 6:30 am. Somewhere between leaving my door and getting on the road I lost about 1 hour. Edit. Alright guys. Your replies are scarier. Absence seizures. Carbon monoxide. Secret DST. Alzheimer's. Edit 2. Not daylight savings. Happened this past August. Edit 3. I'm taking your advice and visiting my GP for a checkup and referral. You wake up at 4:30 for work. Like every day. You could have ended there. This hit alone is straight out of the X-Files for me. And to make it even spookier, I bet he goes to bed at a reasonable time. In high school, my pal bounced a bouncy ball in his room so hard that we never saw it again. We tore that room up. Never found it. There was a Twilight Zone episode like this. Parents hear their child calling them at night. Go into her room. Can hear her, but not see her. Turns out she fell out of bed, rolled under the bed, and into another dimension. I hate when that happens. My cousin and I both remember a room that apparently doesn't exist. When we were both around 10, my cousin was having family problems, and my mom invited her to stay with us while it got sorted out. It was pretty fun. Kind of like having a temporary sister. We ended up talking about it a few years ago, reminiscing about the weird things we would do together and some of the memories that stood out the most. Among them the night we stayed up laughing at my golden retriever, who kept trying to steal my pillow off the bottom bunk when we were trying to get to sleep. Only problem was, we didn't have a dog, and I never had a bunk bed. For whatever reason, I'd never considered how little sense a memory made. Thinking maybe she was just going along with the story, I asked her what color the bed frame was. She thought about it for a second and then answered red. She was right. According to my mom, we never stayed over at anyone else's house, and even if we had, I still remember what her friends' houses looked like. None of them had red bunk beds. I still have no idea what happened. Could it be a movie or television scene that you both have remembered as reality? Probably the X-Files. Nothing too crazy, but definitely creeped my wife and I out. We have a Wi-Fi. The sensor bar is on the TV stand directly in front of the TV, as is any owns. We don't have the cord wrapped up or anything, it just hangs behind the TV in a jumble. One night we were watching TV cuddling on the couch, when suddenly, the Wi-Fi sensor bar literally flies across the room till it got to the end of its length and fell to the floor. Like someone had grabbed it and chucked it across the room. We could find no explanation for this whatsoever. We had a cat and a dog at the time, but cat was sleeping in another room, and dog was on the couch with us. We did have several birthday cards on top of the TV on display, and one of them was on the ground. So the only thing I could think was that somehow we missed the card falling and it hit the cord and viola. I tried for 10 minutes to throw that card as hard as I could at that cord and it didn't even move the bar from its place on the TV stand. Eventually we just chalked it up to WTF and moved on. But it was definitely weird. Physics glitch. Gomebrio engine. Dashlane is an app you can download to Google Chrome, your desktop, and even your phone. Once you download the app you can start saving passwords and usernames securely on their encrypted servers for ease of access and ease of mind. And if you are making a new account on a website like Twitch, you can generate a secure, nearly unbreakable password and it will automatically save and input it for you. Dashlane even will alert you when accounts you use are breached and will help you secure them quickly. On top of that, Dashlane has an ultra-light VPN that encrypts your online activity with a push of a button. Dashlane is a must-have. It's free and the premium is very affordable, and it's the best way to store your passwords, and it just makes logging into websites faster. Even on my phone I haven't had to too. So if Dashlane is something you're interested in, you can download it for free using dashlane.com/chill, and you also get a free 30-day trial of Dashlane Premium, and if you use code chill you get 10% off your Dashlane Premium membership. I have a friend who once told me about a time when he was in his teens. He slept in a bunk bed with his brother in the lower bunk. He said he dreamt a demon wearing the skin of a man threatened to kill his brother. In order to save him, he somehow managed to procure a knife and put the knife to the neck of the demon. The demon tells him, the only way to rid evil is through evil. He hesitated and woke up to find he was pressing a butcher knife under the neck of his younger brother. He was still sleeping, fortunately, but when he awoke, he told the same dream exactly, except he was attacked by his brother in the dream and said the exact same thing. The only way to rid evil is through evil. Nothing similar happened after that, and it gave him some serious issues that led him to go through psychotherapy for a while. I can't say if it's true or not. As far as I know, he made the whole thing up, but I don't think so, as he was reluctant to mention it. I had to share a room with my younger brother growing up. I woke up one night and see him sitting up in bed across the room mumbling, "I have to kill it. I have to stab it," over and over. Threw a pillow at him to wake him up and went back to sleep. This is like that scene from Step Brothers, but directed by Eli Roth. There was XL tension between me and a hot friend of mine that didn't pan out once. I had a friend who was a redhead that became progressively hotter each year. Puberty. Right? I driving down the highway about 3 AM when a semi-truck pulled alongside me, then swerved into my lane, running me off the road and down a very steep incline. I remember going over, I gunned the engine. Why, I don't know. But as I was going downhill I kept telling myself to step on the brake. I couldn't move, it was like someone was holding my foot down. Then I heard this voice tell me, "Okay, now you can step on the brake." Neither my infant daughter nor myself were injured, and the only damage to the car was a hole in the oil pan. Both the tow truck and the highway patrol officer was incredulous that I didn't roll the car. They told me if I had tried to stop any sooner than I did, I would have probably killed us both. It's like a vocal form of dad reflexes. Ghost dad reflexes. Ghost car. I worked the overpass shift at an AM radio station back in the 90s. Saw a car come down the driveway to the parking lot. Went out to see who it was, and the car was just gone. I would have seen if it had turned around or backed out. Thought I was going nuts until the announcer strolled out of the studio and said, "What happened to that car?" Maybe it was Art Bell checking to make sure you weren't playing the wrong segment. Ghost car to Ghost car AM. 5 friends and I, we are playing flashlight tag / hide and seek in his huge farm across the pond. He has nothing but forest. We're all playing, and 2 of us, my friend and I, have these sweet walkie-talkies. Both of us, plus another, were afraid to go into the forest, but the 3 of us decided to go in since we could hide forever in there. We go in and split up, me by myself and the 2 others together with the walkie-talkies. We were talking for maybe 30 minutes back and forth. Pretty stoked about our hiding spots. I even went up a tree and bit and found the perfect little nook to just chill in. About another 20 minutes goes by and I haven't heard from them. I walkie in and nothing. Okay, maybe he didn't hear it. I walkie again. This time I get a beep back. It stayed live for about 5 seconds. Are these things working? I tried again, and this time I heard a distinct breathing. Alright, well, they have to be messing with me. Even so, it was freaking me out. I hop out of the tree and start heading back towards the house. As soon as I get down, I start hearing a howling. I thought it was coyotes, but there was something off about it. It sounded just like someone in the distance howling, like a coyote. I was starting to get really freaked out by this point, so I hightail it back towards the house. I kept hearing the howling and could swear it was getting closer. I picked up pace and started running towards the edge of the tree line. As soon as I crossed it, the walkie sounded again and there was a cackle. Like, which cackle? I have never ran faster up to the house. Once I was back up, I met up with one of the friends who were seeking and told them about it. Dude and are still out there. They definitively freaked me out. He goes, UHH, they're back here. They said they lost track of you and just came back thinking you already came back. Turns out they came back but lost the walkie coming back. So something found the walkie, or I was just hearing things. TL. Doctor went into woods with friends and walkie talkies, which found walkie and duck with me. Edit. Jesus, this got some attention, haha. I have some other super weird occurrences from when I was a kid. Up until about 3 years ago. Might post them and no sleep since this one went well. I think they bamboozled you. Man. I seriously thought so. But they were behind where I was. Farther away. So I wouldn't have seen them leave. But they were back at the house when I got back. And they weren't winded. I think one had even changed, wore black for hiding. Growing up, my brother beat the hit out of me constantly. Like cut eyes, bloody noses, police called beatings. One day at the library I was reading a book about some tribe who believed you could go into people's dreams and cast a sickness on them. So I did all the pre-dream groundwork described in the book, and that night I went to sleep and had a dream. In the dream I was at one end of a long road and my brother was at the other end. I lifted my hand and pointed at him. I cast a sickness on you. The next day we are watching TV and he said, I feel like hit. You have mono. I don't even know why I thought of that. But it was the first thing that came to mind. Duck UH was all he said and the conversation was over. A week later it turns out he did have mono. I was freaked out. I was pretty sure I was a witch and would burn in hell. To compound matters, I had a friend whose dad was a professor. We'd get stoned with him and he'd always tell me random facts. I'm at his house and he starts telling me about this tribe that went in people's dreams and cast sickness. I was paranoid as duck that people would learn this horrible thing I did. Now that I'm not 15 and an idiot, I assume it was just the creepiest coincidence ever. From what you've told me, your brother deserved it. The only way to rid evil is through evil. I was 6 and my brother was 10. We had a 21-year-old foster brother who lived with us off and on. One night I woke up to see him standing in the doorway of my room, checking on me. I said his name in a questioning voice. He said, "It's okay. Go back to sleep." Around the same time, my brother woke up in tears. He said he'd had a dream about a knight standing on a hill, and it made him feel very sad. Turns out our brother died in a car crash that evening. This brought tears to my eyes. Sorry for your loss. Even if it was some time ago. Thank you. It was 1979. My parents swore to never have foster children again. Because they took the loss really hard. 2 months later, CPS called and begged my mom to take in a preemie. Because she was good with babies. That preemie lived with us until she was 3. When we adopted her, she's now my sister. And I love her to bits. Ducking, like and subscribe.